Okay, guys, welcome back. We're going to look at the second part of Lab 24. The second part of Lab 24 looks at the AC signal, the alternating current signal. So when we're looking at this one, we need the oscilloscope again. We need the function generator, and we need our two resistors. Resistor 1 is our 10K ohm, and resistor 2 is our 1K ohm. Okay, we have this set up where the 1K ohm is the negative side, and the positive side is on the 10K ohm. Notice there is a terminal here. This is a separate wire from this one. So this is a wire that goes to the function generator. It terminates there. And this is a wire that goes to the oscilloscope. Same thing on the ground side, on the negative side. This one goes to the oscilloscope, and that one goes to the function generator. Over here I have a voltmeter. I'll pull that out later on just to show you some differences with AC signals versus the DC. So we're set up to get into this lab. Let's pull up the lab directions and see what we have. Okay, here's the middle part of Lab 24. Remember, we've already looked at the DC voltage that was displayed as a horizontal line on our oscilloscope earlier. We saw that in the positive direction it was above the 0 horizontal grid bar, and when we switched the polarity, we saw that it was below. But it stayed as a line, and it stayed at the 6 volts that was set there. Now as we move forward, we're looking at an AC signal. Our settings for our oscilloscope are going to be exactly the same. We're going to look at a 1 millisecond per centimeter time setting. Remember, our voltage is in an auto sense on these oscilloscopes. And our frequency from our function generator is going to set at 500 hertz and 8 volts. So let's take a look at that, and we'll get started here. Let's pull up our oscilloscope here and take a look. Our oscilloscope right now is set at 2, so we want to move this back to 1 millisecond to the division. Again, our time division here, each square is equal to 1 millisecond. So we're seeing 10 milliseconds altogether across the horizontal scale there. Remember, our voltage is auto sensing. We come here to our setting for our function generator. Our function generator, we can set the frequency. We'll do that for 500 hertz. They've asked our amplitude, or our peak-to-peak voltage, that's this middle dial, to be 8 volts. And I have the DC offset at 0. That gives us that middle horizontal bar, and it splits our waveform in half. And we're going to start out looking at the sine wave as this goes across. So that's our setup. And now we're ready to start the testing process. So we're going to start simulation over here. And I'll roll this out just a little so you see your whole waveform. So here we go. We got 8 volts coming on our screen, 500 hertz. You see over here, I left the DC power supply out here. It is not connected to my circuit. It's just hanging out here. My main concern is, what is the oscilloscope doing? So when we look at this oscilloscope, and we take a reading here on this oscilloscope, we see a full waveform cycle here, taking 1 square, 2 squares. Just to remember, we got 10 milliseconds here, and there's 10 squares horizontal. So that means it's taking 2 milliseconds for us to cover the cycle of 1 500 hertz signal coming through here. That means there are 5 signals on this, or 5 cycles on this screen horizontally here. So we have 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, and here's 5. So it's taken 10 milliseconds for 5 cycles to travel across here. You divide that and you get 2 milliseconds per cycle. And that does match with the math when you're calculating the math out. In this lab, they're going to ask you to change the position of your oscilloscope. So if you stop the simulation, we can take this wire lead here, move it right here. What I'm looking at is what's between the wires. I'm looking at the 1 K ohm resistor right now. We start that back up. Okay, here's our signal again. And we see our squares looking like there are 8 squares here again. But I want you to notice big difference over here in the auto range setting. So it's important that you look at this. This whole thing is 1 volt. 1 volt divided by 10, that means this is 1/10 of a volt per square there. So if you count your squares with that in mind, you get an idea what this value is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 in either direction. That's about 0.7 volts that we're seeing here peak to peak. Okay, important that you look at this scale reference over here because it auto ranges. And when you look at that, you know you got 10 squares vertical. You got to divide that so you know what each square is equal to. So we're looking at a 1/10 of a volt or 0.1 volt across the 1K ohm resistor. Okay, now let's look at the 10K ohm resistor. So we're going to take our red wire. First, we have to stop our simulation. We're going to take that red wire, put it back where we had it, take the black wire from the oscilloscope, and move it right here. Again, we're looking at what is between the probes, what's between the red and the black, and that's our 10K ohm, or resistor 1 in this case. Let's start our simulation and see what we have on our screen here. Okay, so we zoom in on the oscilloscope. We've got our same time frame of 10 milliseconds for that 500 hertz signal. Notice though, the voltage scale is different. Okay, we were 1/10 of it before, and now here we are at 10 volts, which means each one of these squares is equal to 1 volt. So if you count this out, looking at 1 volt, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 solid squares there, plus about a half square here and a half square here. So almost 7. Now that's not an exact reading, but that's looking about 7 volts there. Now to get that exact reading, there are a couple more changes we'll do, and I'll show you that here in a minute. So I've pulled a calculator up here to help us figure out what this means and how we can dial this in a little closer. Remember, we have 500 hertz coming at this. So if you think back our calculations here, if I take that frequency 1 divided by 500, it's going to give me 0.002 seconds. 0.002 seconds is also equal to 2 milliseconds. That's what my graph shows me. 1 square is 1 millisecond, so I have 2 squares for a cycle. The period of my waveform is 2 milliseconds, or 0.002 seconds. I would like to get 1 cycle across this whole screen. I have 10 squares to do that in. So if I take those 2 milliseconds and divide it by 10, you should know that's 0.2. So let's go and change our setup on our oscilloscope over here. I'm going to minimize my calculator. Instead of 1 millisecond, let's turn this to be 0.2 milliseconds. And see how it updates. There we go. We have 1 cycle across the screen. It allows me to dial in and look at this a little more closely. Okay. In my volts per division, with this particular signal, there are 10 squares here, so that means 1 square is equal to 1 volt. And if you count from peak to peak, we'll skip the half counting there. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full squares, but it looks like we're about a half square on either side, so you add those together, we're about 7 squares or 7 volts. So 7 volts of the signal is across the big resistor, and 0.7 volts of this signal is across the little resistor. And that does make sense, and we can surmise that it's actually probably 7 point something in here. This particular oscilloscope doesn't allow us to dial into those exact gradations to know that value there, but we can get pretty close. And our 7, say 0.3 volts plus 0.73 volts, that gets us pretty close to the 8 volt peak to peak value. So that's using the oscilloscope to dial in and get some measurements. It allows us to get pretty close to what we need to do for this lab. Okay, the one final thing we want to do here, kind of skip this step earlier just to get directly into those measurements over the resistors, but how does the waveform look with the different types of waves? So I'm going to move my probes back to points A and C. So taking this wire here, we'll go back here. So this is how we started out, remember? Start my simulation. And here's that original waveform, that 8 volts peak to peak that we're seeing across our source. What does it look like with a square wave? So I hit the square wave button and you see your change. Your change is also still 8 volts peak to peak. You can see it pretty solidly there. It's very easy to count my 1 cycle on the screen there. And I look at the sawtooth wave or the triangle wave, and again, we can see that we are pretty much our 8 volts peak to peak with my triangle waveform. So final thing you need to do is check, make sure you've covered all the steps within the lab itself. Read through this review and make sure you fully understand this review. You're going to submit your answers to me either on a Google Doc, or if you know how to, download this and use it as an interactive PDF using the PDF editing tools. Hope you guys have a good day.